Welcome. Thank you for lending an ear to the Voice of the Times for Friday, March 11, 2022. For today's editorial, the folly of joint patrols in our EEZ. France has proposed conducting joint patrols in the Philippines Exclusive Economic Zone or EEZ to highlight the deepening cooperation between the two countries to ensure freedom of navigation in the South China Sea. The offer was presented by Rear Admiral Jean-Mathieu Ray, Joint Commander of the French Armed Forces in the Asia-Pacific during his visit to Manila. Ray accompanied the offer with a sales speech to supply the Philippines with submarines. France has a long-time tradition of building submarines, Ray said, stressing that a submarine fleet would be beneficial for Manila when it is confronted by competitors. The French offer is off-kilter, to say the least, and it would be wise for the government to respectfully decline. Holding joint maritime patrols in our EEZ is not only a complicated operation, it is fraught with risks. To be sure, France has been our steadfast partner in security cooperation. In 2016, the two countries signed a defense agreement that cleared the way for strengthening security ties. Earlier, the French promised to provide the Philippine Coast Guard with one offshore patrol vessel and 4 fast control boats. The vessels, mainly designed to fight smuggling and piracy, were delivered a year later. But the hard sell for submarines is puzzling. Submarines have little strategic value to our defense framework. We're better off with surface vessels equipped with sophisticated weaponry and surveillance systems. France has built a solid reputation for manufacturing fighter jets, but does not have an impressive track record in making submarines. As early as 2015, the commander of the U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet has suggested that ASEAN countries organize a maritime force to patrol the South China Sea. Perhaps easier said than done, from both a policy and organization perspective, such an initiative could help crystallize the operational objectives in the training events that ASEAN navies want to pursue, was how Vice Admiral Robert Thomas, then the fleet commander, described the concept. Thomas backed his proposal with the assurance that if ASEAN members were to take the lead in organizing something along those lines, trust me, the US 7th Fleet would be ready to support. The Philippines quickly embraced Thomas' suggestions, and understandably so. At that time, Chinese maritime defense ships were stepping up sovereignty patrols in the South China Sea, and Beijing was starting to convert atolls and reefs into heavily fortified islands. Rear Admiral Jesus Milian, the Philippine Navy chief at that time, acknowledged that setting up joint patrols was a resource-intensive initiative that will need the approval of all ASEAN states. And that will be difficult, Milian correctly perceived, because some members of the regional bloc were not comfortable with raising Beijing's ire, especially after it warned ASEAN states against allowing countries outside the region to intrude in regional matters. ASEAN chose to heed Beijing's warning, and the idea of joint patrols faded away. President Rodrigo Duterte eventually banned such a venture. The French proposal for joint patrols becomes even more untenable because it comes at a time of mounting tensions in the Indo-Pacific region following the birth of a new security alliance between the United States, Australia, and the United Kingdom. China already feels threatened by the presence of these intruders. The French initiative could only worsen an already precipitous situation. Admiral Ray assures that he has been maintaining a dialogue with Chinese military authority and my counterpart to keep any crisis at the lowest level and to react against misunderstanding or miscalculation. The French embassy in Manila also said Ray's visit demonstrates France's support for developing a regional maritime security framework that promotes the importance of exchanging with partners such as the Philippines on a regular basis in order to share France's strategic visions and contribute to the stability of the region. We believe France means well in providing assistance to an ally, but joint patrols will definitely not contribute to maintaining stability in the region. The Philippines is far better off guarding its borders on its own. Defending our sovereignty requires that we do it alone. We cannot share that responsibility with anyone else. And that's the editorial for Friday, March 11, 2022. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print. Subscribe to its digital edition or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. And listen to the Voice of the Times.